Well, welcome everyone to Stuff in Excel. I'm Richard, and what we're going to do in this video is we're going to take a look at how you can take different worksheets in a workbook and combine them into a single worksheet using Power Query. I think you're really going to like it. Stay tuned. So let's start with our file. So we've got a file with 3 tabs on it. You can download this file from the description section by clicking on the link down there. So we've got 3 worksheets in this particular workbook. And we've got East, Central, and West. And what we want to do is combine this data into a single file so that we can analyze it. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to start, first of all, we're going to turn each one of these worksheets into a table. So we'll click anywhere in the worksheet and we'll go to Insert Table, and we'll say that it does have headers. So we'll do each one of these, and I don't like the way that looks, so we're going to change the look of it a little bit. I like having the dark text in the header. So we'll go to the central and we'll do the same thing. We'll click, we'll go to Insert, we will set up a table, and we will say OK. And again, I'm going to change the way that looks. And we'll just put, let's just put this one as fine for that. And then we'll go to West and we'll do the same thing. We'll click Insert Table, and we will say OK. And we will now change that also so that it has a dark header on it. There we go. So now we've got our 3 worksheets. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use Power Query to load these worksheets up, and then we'll combine them. Now the way we're going to do this is we're going to just click anywhere in the table. We'll start with East. We'll click anywhere in that table. Oh, by the way, we're going to go back and rename these. So I'm going to rename each one of these. This will be East. Then we'll rename the second one. It'll be renamed, click in there, and we can go to Table Design. We'll call it Central. And we will now go to the third one, and we'll click anywhere in the table, go to Table Design, and we'll click West. So now we've got all 3 of our tables named. We can now go, let's start with East. We're going to go to Data, and we're going to go, instead of get data from file, we're going to go to get data from table or range. So I'm going to click in the table, and then I'll go from table or range, and it'll open up Power Query for me. And when it does, I'll be able to take that information. Okay, there it is. Let's see, there it is. And we're going to now go up to, remember before we clicked on close and load the top half of this split button, but actually we're going to go to the bottom half now, click on the drop down, and we're going to go to close and load to. And when we do that, it's going to give us an option, and our option we're going to pick is only create connection. And it's going to open that up over here in our right hand window. We'll make that a little bigger so we can see it. And you see Open East Connection. So now we're going to go do the same thing. We're going to go click on our Central tab, and we'll go to From Table Range. And it loads it up, and we're going to say, again, close and load to. I'm going to say only create connection. OK. Now that one's opened. We'll go to our West unit. We'll make sure we're clicking in the table. We'll go to From Table Range. And we will say close and load to. And that we'll say only create connection, OK, and there it is. And now what we're going to do next is we are going to combine these, and we're going to go back to get data. We're going to go to combine queries. Now we can merge, which takes different worksheets and adds them together like across the page, or we can do append, which adds down the page. So we're going to pick our append, and we're going to add these together, and we're going to use 3 or more tables. We're going to add together East, Central, and West, and we'll add those together, and we're going to get a new table called append. And this table will have all of our data right underneath itself, oh, wait a minute, what happened here? Something doesn't look right. And the reason it doesn't look right is because we did not check to make sure all of our columns were the same names. So one of the interesting things about Power Query is when you're combining different tables together, the tables all have to have the exact same headings. So we're going to have to redo this and back out of it. So let's back out of this. We'll cancel our query here. We'll just close it, and we'll say discard this. And then when we get over here, we're going to actually discard all of these connections as well. So we'll delete that one. We'll say delete. We're going to delete this one. We'll delete it. And we'll delete the West also. So now we're back to our original file. Now what we've got to do is we've got to make sure they all have the same headings. What do we want these headings to be? Well, I've got region here, so that's okay. Product, units, sales dollars, cost of goods sold dollars, and gross margin. Now central has division as the first one. And then notice sales doesn't have a dollar sign with it the way it did previously. And West has also got something a little different. They've got cost of goods sold with no dollar sign. So what we're going to do is we're going to make all of these the same. So I'm going to just take these column headings right here. We're going to copy them. We're going to paste these column headings into the central. We'll just paste that in there, and we'll do the same thing with the West. Now, the other thing I'm going to do, just to show you it can be done, is we're going to move gross margin over here. We're going to take it out here, and we're going to move it. So it's interesting that you have to have the same column names across all of your tables. However, they do not have to be in the same order. What you're going to see when we combine these is that even though gross margin is in a different order than it is for Central or East, Power Query doesn't care what order it's in. It will use the first table that you add as the model for all the others, and it'll put all the others in the right order. So let's go see how this works. Now we're going to do table range like we did before. We're going to close and load that to, and we're going to close and load it to only create connection. It's going to create our East connection. Now we'll click on the central. We got to make sure we're clicking in the table. We'll do from table range. We will do close and load to. And we'll do only create connection. And then what we will do is we'll go to West. We will do from table range. Whoop, see, we're not in the table. That also doesn't like that. We got to make sure we're clicked in the table. We'll click that from table range. It's going to load it. We're going to do close and load to. Only create connection. Now we've got our three tables. We're simply going to get data. We're going to combine the queries. We're going to append the queries. And we're going to do three of them. So it's East, Central, and West. We'll say OK. And it's going to give us our new appended query. So there it is. There's all of our data all put together. Now let me show you one other step here. So let's close and load this back to our original file. So close and load. It's going to add a tab down here at the bottom, the append tab. I'm going to actually move that to the end. Let's say we added another region. Let's add the North region. And I'm going to do this really simply and really quickly, and I'm going to pause the video and then we'll come right back to it. So we have our new group of data. It's for the North region. And I've got our sales and our units sold, our sales, our cost of goods sold, and gross margin still is over here in the middle like this, just like it was for the West. You can see that. When we go to West, you can see it. So now what I want to do is I want to add this to the other. So the first thing I'm going to do is what I did before. I'm going to click in it. I'm going to go to data, go to table range, and I'm simply going to now say I'm going to close and load to. I'm going to do, again, create connection. Now when I go up here to get data, I'm going to go to combine queries. And now all I have to do is add this to the previous query. So I'm going to add just two queries here. I'm going to add append is my first one. Now I'm going to add North to that. And notice it's going to move, the new one, the margin, gross margin will move over to the right just like it did before. Hit OK. And now when I close and load, It's going to have, there's all my data, and I can close and load this. It's going to actually create another new append for me, and you can see where that is. I'm going to make that bigger so we can see it. And what you can see is east, central, west, and now north has been added to that. Now what I'm going to show you in the next video is how to take some different workbooks, put them into a folder, and set it up so that it will automatically update when you add a new workbook to that folder. Hopefully this was helpful. If you like it, please remember to subscribe to the channel, click the like button, and click that notification bell so when we issue new videos, you'll be sure to get notice of them. Have a great day. We'll see you real soon on Stuff in Excel.